Hello, Freddy, the best Kung Fu Academy owner's son, has an easy life. He uses his skills to entertain himself and his ego. However, his arrogance goes too far, and now he has to go through humiliation and hard training to earn his lost respect. In front of us is a renowned Kung Fu master who possesses a special technique called Devil's Kick. He earns his living by killing for hire. And he's the one that people turn to if they want to get the best fighters out of their way. Thunderfoot, as he calls himself, receives another order, $500 for the death of Charlie Wei, the four-door fist champion. The hitman finds his target in the middle of training, as he is breaking logs with powerful punches. The man has heard about the invincible Thunderfoot and his devilish kick. In fear, Charlie Wei offers to double the price to break the contract, but Thunderfoot is adamant. Charlie Wei holds back the onslaught for a while, but fists are no match for legs. And in a high jump, the killer finishes off his opponent with his crowning strike. A Kung Fu lesson is taking place at the academy. The master leaves his assistant to continue the class. One of the students mocks the replacement behind his back. The boy's shenanigans are punished by his friend, who immediately turns the bully in, the cocky son of the academy's master, Freddy Wong. The teacher offers the young man to duel, and is immediately defeated. The winner is having lunch with friends when a pretty girl walks past them. The boy bets meals on whether the guy can seduce her. He tries to apply his clever tricks, only to be interrupted by the girl's mother, who slaps the unfortunate seducer in the face. Freddy curses, for which he gets slapped again. The second duel of the day is not as easy as the first one. He has severely underestimated his opponent. The guy runs away, claiming that he let her win. Nearby, a rich gentleman and his assistant are walking around the market. A poor man asks him to buy a valuable medallion, which the man breaks just to laugh at him, and when asked to pay, smacks the salesman on his head. Freddy, who is passing by, interferes and demands him to compensate the poor man. Another brawl begins. In the midst of the fight, the villain picks up his sword and nearly chops Freddy's head off, even with vegetables. The hero keeps repelling his attacks and snatches the money from the rival's pocket in the middle of the fight, giving it to the old man. Having deprived the enemy of his sword and driven him and his partner to tears, Freddy withdraws. At home, he discovers the girl and her mother with whom he had quarreled at the market, and are horrified to learn that they are his newly arrived aunt and cousin. His father introduces the guy to his relatives. The boy tries to hide his face, but to no avail. At first, the aunt smirkily covers for the guy, showering him with compliments, but finally adds that this afternoon, she and her daughter were attacked by a horny maniac who is standing in front of them at this very moment. The father unleashes his fury on his son, but before he can finish with him, Mr. Lee bursts into the house, bringing his son on a stretcher with broken legs and arms. Again, it is Freddy who has disgraced the family, and had it not been for his aunt, his father would have killed him on the spot. The woman proposes that Zhao, a fighter in Mr. Lee's servant's household, strikes the young man 10 times. Freddy will only have to dodge and not attack him back. The deal is executed, but Zhao delivers an extra treacherous blow on the sly. His aunt stands up for the nephew, and now it's Freddy's turn to attack. Zhao is sent to the stretchers right after his master, and Lee and his assistant scramble away with a grudge. Freddy's father praises him, but is still holding back from strangling him with his own hands. His aunt intervenes again and offers to punish his nephew with training. The boy is assigned 5 hours in the rider's stance and house arrest under the supervision of the previously beaten substitute teacher. The father's servant taunts the restrained boy and pours boiling water into bowls. Yes, if you get into a fight with every other citizen in town, you make enemies. But the kid does have friends too, and one of them puts a bench below him. But as luck would have it, his father arrives with a checkup and warns him that Uncle So-Hai will come and really teach the cheeky boy some manners. And in the meantime, it's time to carry out a new punishment. His friend comes to the rescue again, bringing food and freeing the boy. He tells him that Uncle So-Hai's cruelty is legendary, and the friends escape together. Freddy hasn't eaten anything in a long time and is very hungry. The friends walk into a local restaurant, and our protagonist sits next to a strange gentleman to fill his belly at his expense. After a heavy meal, the guy tries to get away, but his bluff gets exposed. It turns out he was trying to cheat the restaurant owner. A giant security guard, nicknamed Gorilla, joins the waiters to teach the thief a lesson. They beat the crap and the food out of Freddy. In the scuffle, the fighters wake up an old drunkard, who stands up for the guy. His style is exceptional, and he takes care of the young fighters in no time. Freddy, while everyone is busy, doesn't miss an opportunity to stuff his belly again. The pair escapes, and the old man immediately fuels himself with liquor. The vagabond introduces himself, Mr. So. Freddy quickly realizes that this is the same ruthless uncle his father had told him about, and tries to escape. But Mr. So won't let him go. A contract with the boy's father has been signed for the whole next year. The prospect of spending so much time with a cunning, cruel, and vicious teacher sounds like a death sentence, so Freddy decides to use force. But not a single style helps him get within an inch of the old man. During the fight, he doesn't get tense at all, and even manages to drink wine in the meantime. So-Hi grabs the young man in a vicious hold and forces him to agree to study. The exhausting training begins, which sometimes looks more like pointless torture. But the master says that falling is the most important element for the style. And this is only the first lesson. The next task turns out to be balancing on huge barrels with a bucket of water. Freddy pretends to have drowned and manages to fool the teacher and escape by trapping him inside the barrel. The hero finds a campfire and dries his clothes there. The owner of the cabin returns. It's none other than the Thunderfoot guy. He demands Freddy to get away, but the boy keeps talking back, as usual. The Master of Kicks insults Freddy's style and his teacher father. It can't go unpunished. And the guy fights to the very end, falling from the blows, but getting up again and again. Freddy is beaten to exhaustion and kneels before his attacker. As proof of his superiority, the villain burns the guy's pants. Defeated and dirty, he has no choice but to run away in his underwear. He is humiliated and overwhelmed by hatred and resentment. These emotions give him strength, and he returns to his teacher to make the most of his training. The new trials again make Freddy bend, fall, and get endlessly beaten with sticks. Rice and grass are the only things he eats. The apprentice still tries to cheat while his mentor is out of sight, but can't get away with it. So-Hi notices everything, despite his drowsiness and the amount of alcohol he's taken. The boy has some success as well. He can now crush walnuts with his fingers. The teacher is pleased and suggests that he go for a walk in town and get some rest. The hero plays a game of thimbles for money, and the old man wins several times. But as you know, the casino always wins. And the chief of the gang proposes to go all in. So-Hi confidently chooses a thimble, but it is empty. The master immediately catches the man cheating, which, however, does not prevent the crook from escaping with the money. Freddy catches up with the thief, who, in turn, intimidates Freddy by breaking a brick with his head. This is a skilled fighter, nicknamed Iron-Headed. Passers-by hide in their homes, fearing for their lives. So-Hi intervenes just in time, and the two of them are able to deal with the opponent. Freddy's sledgehammer is stronger than his skull, and justice is eventually served. During yet another torturous wrist workout, the master runs out of booze and sends his apprentice into town for wine. Freddy doesn't deny himself the pleasure of lingering in the restaurant and squandering all the money while his teacher is suffering from a hangover. As luck would have it, he is visited by the bandage-wrapped Iron-Headed, with a friend armed with a staff, the King of Bamboo. So-Hi also introduces himself, which terrifies the men. But after noticing his shaking hands, they conclude that the old man is simply lying. The drunken master is badly hurt in the battle, but still holds on until the apprentice arrives. He tosses him a jug of wine, and So-Hi, full of hopes and expectations, brings the nectar of the gods to his mouth. All the wine was drunk out by the careless apprentice. Now, he'll have to show himself in a fight with tough opponents. But Freddy has only trained his stamina and lacks skill. The heroes manage to escape by jumping out the window of the shack. Even though Freddy had let So-Hi down, the master is not angry, and instead finally shows him the secret style of the 8 drunken immortals. By pretending to lose and falling off your feet, you can deceive your opponent and deliver a crushing blow. The guy drinks cup after cup to the groggy singing of the teacher until he passes out. Freddy learns 7 of the 8 divine techniques, which include the cripple, the fat man, the flutist, the leg kicking and throat grabbing techniques. Except for the last one, the flirty coquette Miss Ho, which he is not willing to learn because these are not the movements of a god, but of a goddess. Meanwhile, Mr. Lee and Freddy's father, Mr. Wong, argue about selling the land. Lee wants to buy Bull Hill, which supposedly contains an old cemetery. By doing so, he hopes to lift the curse of childlessness on his descendants. But this is a lie. His real target is the coal deposit located there. Lee even offers Wong a cut, but the latter is adamant. The man leaves, warning that nothing will stop him. He signs a contract with Thunderfoot to take out his rival. Meanwhile, Freddy stumbles upon the teacher's assailant, the King of Bamboo. The protagonist is holding a vial of wine. He gets tipsy during the fight, and his techniques only get more diverse. The fighter, recently crowned Mr. Stick, gets his face kicked in the dirt. It's time for Freddy's big move. Joyful, he takes 2 barrels of wine as a gift for the master, but does not find him in the shack. So High has left a letter. The master has taught Freddy everything he knows, and it's time to part. But he will surely show up if there is a need. While the hero is coping with separation, Mr. Wong is lured to the hill, where Thunderfoot is waiting for him, ready to carry out the order. The assassin pays his respects to the master, who has raised many apprentices, but money is paramount. The elder fighter is defeated and lies on the ground, but the killer does not have time to finish the job. Freddy and his younger brother show up, followed by his uncle, who does not want to miss the most exciting part. Freddy does some tricks with a bottle and reaches the condition necessary to demonstrate all the power of the 8 gods. His movements become more and more unpredictable, and the teacher advises him from the sidelines when it's better to change stances. But the flute and power grip techniques fail the guy, and he takes a couple of blows. It's time for the final technique, the goddess Miss Ho, which Freddy once neglected. He asks So High to teach it to him on the go, but there is no time for that. The devil's blows keep raining down on the hero. The mentor believes in the student and says that he is capable of inventing his own style by combining all the previous ones. Freddy invents his own Miss Ho, and all 8 drunken gods are now embodied in one fighter. He delivers precise blows to the vulnerable spots, deftly jumps onto the mercenary's neck, and finishes the villain off with a chokehold. The father is saved, the teacher is proud, and the boy's honor is restored. As always, look for the movie title in the description of the video. For now, let us know your story in the comments. Did you have a very strict but fair teacher who influenced your future? And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video so that more awesome stories are released as often as possible.